Today, we're diving into the fiery world of UK politics, where the gloves are off, the punches are flying, and the stakes couldn't be higher. In this corner, we've got SNP MP Stephen Gethins, ready to challenge the UK government on everything from migration to child poverty. And in the other corner, the Secretary of State for Scotland, Ian Murray, firing back with accusations and defending his government's record. Let's get into it.
Stephen Gethins.
Mr. Speaker, can I join others in congratulating the Secretary of State on the arrival and the birth of his daughter? That's one gain from Labour that even we can endorse, Mr. Speaker. One of the most important areas that business has identified for growth has been around a more Scotland-specific approach to migration. That's something that was touted by Scottish Labour in their manifesto and by their leader, but was shot down by the UK government within no time at all, going the same way as WASPI, child poverty commitments and the winter fuel payment commitment. So if the UK government won't listen to Scotland's Labour leader, why should anybody else?
Mr. Speaker, I'm very surprised that the honourable gentleman didn't take the opportunity to apologise for his Twitter rantings at the weekend on foreign policy with regards to the Prime Minister, and what he said was the UK has left itself in an utterly isolated position. I think the honourable gentleman left himself in an utterly isolated position. This government is completely committed to economic growth, completely committed to transforming lives in Scotland, and we're already seeing the fruits of that in the Scottish context. And I would ask the SNP to either get behind that or give Scotland a new direction and get out of the way.
Stephen Gethins.
If the Minister had bothered to read any more deeply, I was saying something that he once agreed with. Leaving the EU left us more isolated. He once agreed with me about that before he went into government. But then he agreed with me on other things before he went into government, like tackling fuel poverty, tackling child poverty. Or is the Secretary of State no longer worried about these issues and more worried about league tables? Or a situation where he's more worried about being in the relegation zone? Do you know what's really interesting, Mr. Speaker? Throughout all of this, not once has he stood up for his leader. So it makes me think that if we shouldn't listen to his leader because they're not listening to his leader anymore either.
Secretary of State.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I lost the thread of that question about halfway through, but the one thing I did take from the question is it was absolutely identical to the question from the Tory Shadow Secretary of State. That tells you all you need to know.
A clash of ideologies, a battle of wits, and a whole lot of political drama. Stephen Gethins came out swinging, calling out the UK government for ignoring Scotland's needs, while Ian Murray tried to deflect with some sharp comebacks. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unfiltered political showdowns.